Chapter 1. Empire of the Sun. The sun hangs low over the great causeway, its golden light shimmering on the waters of Lake Texcoco. This is Tenochtitlan, the jewel of the Aztec Empire, a city of pyramids and palaces rising from the lake like a dream carved from stone. The air hums with the distant chant of priests, the rhythmic pulse of war drums, and the scent of copal incense clinging to the humid breeze. Here the gods walk among men, and the emperor Moctezuma rules as a living shadow. But beyond the city's gleaming temples and bustling canals, a storm gathers, a storm not of wind and rain, but of steel and ambition. Cortes, a man of iron will and unshakable conviction, has set his sights on this empire. With a handful of conquistadors, he has marched inland from the coast, defying the warnings of the locals, the treachery of his own men, and the sheer scale of the challenge before him. The Aztecs call him Melanson Stranger, who speaks with the tongue of the gods. But to Cortes, this is no divine mission. It is conquest. The city is a fortress built on an island, its causeways guarded by bridges that can be raised at a moment's notice. The canals are patrolled by canoes bristling with spears, and the streets teem with warriors clad in feathered armor, their obsidian blades glinting in the sun. Yet Cortes does not falter. He has seen the wealth of this land gold, the jade, the endless tribute flowing into the emperor's coffers. He has heard the stories of human sacrifice, the blood-drenched altars where the gods are fed, and he knows that if he can take Tenochtitlan, he will rewrite history itself. But the Aztecs are not fools. Moctezuma has heard of the pale-skinned invaders, their strange horses, their thunderous weapons. He has sent emissaries to meet them, bearing gifts of gold and promises of friendship. But Cortes is not here for friendship. He is here to claim. And so, when the conquistadors arrive at the gates of the city, they do not come as supplicants. They come as conquerors. The first clash is not a battle, but a test. The Aztecs allow the Spaniards to enter, to marvel at the grandeur of their city, to see the power of their empire. But Cortes does not marvel. He calculates. He notes the weaknesses of narrow streets, the reliance on the causeways, the lack of walls high enough to stop. A determined assault. He sees the fear in the eyes of the nobles, the unease in the whispers of the priests, and he knows that this empire, for all its splendor, is not invincible. And comes the betrayal. A rival faction within the Aztec nobility, resentful of Moctezuma's rule, sees an opportunity. They offer Cortes an alliance, a way to seize power from within. The emperor is taken hostage in his own palace, a puppet king under Spanish guard. For a time, it seems as though the conquest will be bloodless. The Aztecs submit, the tribute flows, and Cortes rules through fear and deception. But the gods do not forgive such arrogance. The people of Tenochtitlan, proud and defiant, begin to whisper in the shadows. They remember the old prophesied return of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, who would come from the east to reclaim his kingdom. And they see in Cortes not a god, but a usurper. The rebellion begins with a single spark of Spanish soldier's insult, a warrior's blade drawn in defiance. Then, like wildfire, it spreads. The siege of Tenochtitlan is not a battle. It is a slaughter. The Spaniards, outnumbered 100 to 1, fight with the desperation of men who know that surrender means death. Their muskets roar, their swords flash, their horses trample the streets. But the Aztecs fight with the fury of the damned. They swarm the causeways, their machahuitl clubs crushing skulls, their spears finding gaps in the conquistadors' armor. The city becomes a killing ground, its canals running red, its temples echoing with the screams of the dying. And yet, for all their courage, the Aztecs cannot prevail. The Spaniards have allies no Tlaxcalans, the Texcocans, the countless enemies of the Aztec Empire who see in Cortes a chance to break their chains. Together, they tighten the noose around Tenochtitlan, cutting off supplies, burning the bridges, starving the city into submission. Moctezuma, the once great emperor, is a broken man. He begs his people to stand down, to accept the inevitable. But the warriors will not listen. They hurl stones at their own king, curse him as a traitor. And when Cortes, in a final act of cruelty, orders his execution, the last hope of peace dies with him. The end comes swiftly after that. The last defenders, cornered in the heart of the city, fight to the death. The great temples are desecrated, the palaces looted, the canals choked with corpses. And when the smoke clears, Tenochtitlan is no more. In its place rises a new city of stone and steel, of crosses and cannons, a city built on the bones of an empire. But the fall of Tenochtitlan is not the end of the story. It is only the beginning. For the conquistadors, this is just the first step in their conquest of the New World. For the Aztecs, it is the dawn of a new age of resistance, of survival, of the unbreakable spirit that refuses to die. And so, as the sun sets over the ruins of an empire, the stage is set for the next chapter. The fall of Tenochtitlan has reshaped the world, but the war for the soul of the Americas has only just begun.